Two. Hello, I'm Adam, aka Corpulent Geek.
And I'm Sci-Fi Christina. If you're new to the channel, we do this show together, Threatened Gangly Alive, where we do a deep dive discussion on each episode of Star Trek Discovery.
We try to keep these shows about an hour, but we also do mini shows that discuss a specific topic on the show. You can find a link to the example of one of those down below, one where I talk about the Klingons and how close they got to Earth. If either of those things sound like something you're interested in, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below.
This week, we're going to explore all parts of the season finale, episode 15, Will You Take My Hand? Although we did do a quick recap Sunday night, a little reaction video.
We did, because there was no way we were going to hold all that in.
No, and I was surprisingly thorough in the things I was reacting to because it was so fresh in my mind.
Yeah, we really
did like that.
Did well. So I'll also, when I'm all done here, add a link for that, but you can find it on our page of the instant reaction, I called it. So you'll be able to check that out. But just want to warn everyone, there's going to be nothing but spoilers ahead. So if you haven't watched the finale of Discovery,
quickly do it.
It's time to bail out now. And we've officially cleared all our mornings, so now we're going to go ahead full impulse. See, we're an awesome show. We have little segments to the show and everything.
Oh, and I'm in that section now, and I should read.
Yeah.
We are well rehearsed.
It's all good.
We wonder why you would go into anything Orion controlled and trust Tilly to guard a bomb.
She got super high.
Tilly finally gets promoted to ensign, but no commission for Saru?
It's fine. Everything is fine. NCC-17, whatever could that mean?
Squeeze! It's the Enterprise! Enterprise!
Yeah, that was unexpected there at the end. Do we want to lead off talking about that, since that's the killer thing?
No, we should go through and try and do that.
Really? We're going to try and go in order? So we're going to go to warp in order?
You know what? No, we can talk about that now. We're going to go to warp in order.
Yeah. Well,
you know why?
Well, I was trying to let the people know that we're at warp now, which is the main section of our show where we talk about where we spend most of our time.
Yes. I'm traveling from A to B. We can start with that because I realized that I have a slight correction to our reaction. I know, I'm so very rarely
Which
wrong.
one of us was wrong?
Oh, unfortunately, it was me. It's Sunday night when we were talking, I was making reference to the book that had been out.
Oh, yes.
What is it? Desperate Hours?
Desperate Hours. You're the one that read it.
Well, because I just started reading the second book. And I feel like that one's called Desperate Measures. Is that one called Drastic Measures?
Drastic Measures.
Yes. Sorry. See, I got confused. But that's not even the correction.
The next book, Desperate Drastic. I can't even say that. Oh, my God.
Drastic Hours.
No.
Desperate Drastic. Ooh.
See?
That's hard.
That's a tongue twister.
So anyway, in Desperate Hours, that book takes place, and
You're
I had
mashing the hell out of the camera.
I'll lean on your desk.
All right, cool.
I like to look cash. That book takes place aboard the Shenzhou, mostly, with Saru and Burnham being the lead characters, and it takes place a year before the Battle of the Binary Stars. And I misspoke on Sunday and said also a year before Talos 4, which was not right. It was actually a year after. So because the Enterprise is in the book as well. And the Enterprise has been a year out from going to Talos under Captain Pike, and it's a year before the Battle of the Binary Stars. So I have no idea what's happening to the Enterprise right now. Obviously, it is still under Captain Pike's control.
It's a priority 1 alert, and that's a planetary emergency. That's the technical code for a planetary emergency. So maybe someone is trying to blow up Vulcan again.
Yeah, I know. That's what, like, when they said priority 1 alert, for some reason I flashed into the movie, and I'm like, they're gonna, because they were going to Vulcan, and it was like, they're gonna come out in this debris field. What's happening? But no, it's too early for that.
But I'm surprised that distress alerts work at all in this universe, because they didn't get one when Starbase 1 was destroyed and just completely, utterly taken away. I would have thought something would have happened. So odd. Anyway, so yeah, I personally didn't think that was needed Even being the big Star Trek fan that I am, I mean, all right, it was cool to see, and I did like what I saw because it looked very cool. But but at some point there was an article I read somewhere that they stressed and they let us know that the show is going to stand on its own. They're not going to, the Enterprise isn't there, and it's not going to be a big part of season 2.
Yeah, it has a part to play, but the Discovery is still the main ship, and they're very coy on whether we're even going to see Spock or not.
Yeah,
like they're very like not saying if he's like, maybe that's the problem. Maybe it's like another search for Spock, the first search for Spock. No, I'm just being silly.
I was like, what?
Like maybe he's not on the Enterprise with Pike, and part of the problem that's going on, Spock is somewhere else, and he's at that problem. I like, again, I'm gonna talk about the book again because the book.
Are you gonna get it right this time?
Maybe. Read it and you can find out. The book addresses the relationship between Burnham and Spock. I mean, it's about them. Like, the Enterprise and the Shenzhou are together, and Spock and Burnham are together, and they're under stress, and there's a lot of stuff that happens that addresses, how they felt about each other, and kind of where they are, where they should be at here in the show. Mm-hmm. But one of the producers had mentioned that obviously, because not all the fans are reading the book, though you should, it was very enjoyable, that they kind of owe the fans some sort of answer to why has Spock never mentioned this half-sister.
Yeah, and that's good. Again, after Trek comes through with more information for us.
Yeah.
The Spock never mentioning a half-sister, and a ton of people are pulling out that Spock in the original series actually had a line about that there's never been a mutiny on a Federation vessel, and they don't understand how he could have said that. And that's the type of thing I'm willing to let go, because you can't make everything fit. It's like certain things in Star Wars that don't line up. It's just because the mythology has gotten so big now that it's okay.
Yeah. And I one of the things that I know we didn't discuss on Sunday, now that we're kind of drawing back to the bigger picture, can't not hit this table. We've got the wobbliest picture today, I'm sure. Was one of the reasons I kind of thought he may not have mentioned her is I mean, he's Vulcan and he doesn't always talk about his past. It probably took a lot to get to the point where he finally started talking about just his father and mother. But also, I thought that they were going to do something, although her record was expunged. So maybe that is the answer. Like, because the season, especially in the beginning of the season, where they kept talking about like the first mutineer, and there'd never been a mutineer in Starfleet, and
so maybe since it was expunged, he was technically correct.
Yes, so
the best kind of correct.
So that is probably just the answer. Is that she wasn't someone of a lot of remarkable, technically on paper. Something, badly remarkable.
Badly remarkable?
Well, yeah, like being a mutineer was badly remarkable. But helping the war turn around and basically ending it is goodly remarkable. See how that works?
Yes. So, all right. That just about covers the Enterprise there at the end of sequence.
I'm excited to see how it fits in. I'm hoping that the next season starts and is a little more widely appealing to all of the Trek fans. I mean, I would hope that, because I thought this season was wonderfully appealing, but I would hope that they come around to seeing the lesson and the story that this season was trying to communicate. But I also think that I feel like next season's going to be a little more pure Trek. Mm-hmm. And I think that will be entertaining and enjoyable in a different way.
We're going to skip right past where we normally talk about what the title means, because obviously I have absolutely no idea what the title means, because I had a awesome theory that I thought would pan out, and it was nowhere near that. It was just the standard Burnham wanting Georgiou to go along with what she wanted to do, and so that's sad. So we're just skipping right past that. It can't mean anything good.
Straight in the bin.
Straight in the bin. What did you want to talk about next, hon? Which of all our different sections that we have?
I loved the moment Clint Howard was on screen and both of us were like, "Wow,
Yeah.
him!"
Yeah.
That was awesome.
It was so enjoyable because he's been in so many of the other shows. I didn't realize exactly how many he'd been in. Because he was in the original series.
Mm-hmm.
He was also a Ferengi in Deep Space Nine.
Oh, he makes a great Ferengi.
I believe it was Deep Space Nine. He was also in Enterprise, I've been told. And just in case you don't remember him from the original series one, I'm going to try and whip up. Here we go. I can flash this up there on screen. Ba-bam. It's got his scary ass picture. Oh my God. I remember this when I was younger, seeing this, not original when it first came out, but I mean that he's scary enough looking as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
And then you add on the voice that they had over the top of it, and it was just bad. It was scary as hell.
Our daughter has a book of opposites. It's a Star Trek book of opposites, and it's all images from the original series, and his image is used for
scary as F?
No, I think small. I think it's the opposite of
all right, that too.
Big.
I wasn't able to grab it, but maybe it's actually in this shot. No, it's not in that shot. Next to him on the table, they recreated, because in that scene when he was a little kid, on the side there was like a punch bowl that had orange fluid in it, and a ladle, probably Tang. But next to him in the Orion thing on the show the other night was an orange punch bowl with a ladle in it. I was like,
yes,
he's been typecast.
Yeah, what?
He's typecast as Orange Ladle Dude. It could happen.
No.
All right, and now there was a lot of stuff that happened in this episode that was awesome, but the fact that in Klingon there's a word for croupier. When that flashed up there on the screen, and I was like, yes. See how cultured the Klingons are? Everyone thinks they're barbarians that are nothing.
I don't know. I feel like words for gambling are well within there.
Pretty universal.
But croupier was
that was
fantastic.
That's a classy word.
It really was.
It was gorgeous.
That was another thing that came up on the screen.
Yeah,
and we were like, bah.
And that whole scene, I loved. Shazad Latif is such a good actor. I think I can't really tell, because I'm trying to think of one now that I'm sure is terrible, but I think is good. But I think Shazad Latif is a great actor, because he can go to all that kind of stuff. Like he was talking with Burnham and having a semi close to emotional moment there, and then the Klingons came over and you could see like he was acting like that got his blood up, and he got going, he got in there and was ragging it up with them and with the Klingons. And, it was
no, I have definitely enjoyed his performance, and I'm enjoying finding other things that he's been in.
Don't bring up Clem Fandango again.
I can't not bring him.
Maybe.
Hello, Steven, can you hear me? This is Clem Fandango.
Maybe over the course of the hiatus, we can do a special mashup video. We'll test our editing skills and have shots of him as Tyler, but we'll put like the weird hats, because he always had weird hats and glasses. Like every time in the Toast of London,
Fandango.
Yeah, like we'll have Tyler there, but we'll Photoshop on Clem Fandango's weirdness on him.
So now there's editing and Photoshopping.
Well, you can do the editing, like how I did with the Pluto being up with the Klingon video and all.
Yeah,
just kind of throw it up there.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. I have all these big plans and all, and none of them will come to fruition. Just like how Desperate Hours never got. We never did a show on it. But now we have lots of time.
Yeah, we'll do it now.
We'll
and now I'm reading
right
Drastic
now.
Measures.
All right, so what's it about?
So
no, because she'll just dive right into it just to try
I
and
will.
show me up.
3 hours later. Ooh,
Yeah, I'm just leaving. You all right there, baby?
Got excited.
Right. So,
Yay books.
Yeah, EA books. And so the future is just super gay, because and that's cool.
Keep it gay, keep it gay, keep it gay.
Every time they seem to travel around in Doctor Who anywhere in the future, it's like, well, whatever, because you had Captain Jack, and everything was great with him. Whenever Bill goes somewhere, now everything's super fine. And not only did they have Culber and Stamets, and no one seemed to bat an eye about anything, but when the Emperor was getting the second Orion slave person to go and do the deal with, and Tilly was all like, "Oh, none for me, thank you. I'm just going to sit out here." And the Emperor was like, "Oh, she was for me." There was no talk about like Tilly was Tilly, and obviously uncomfortable, but just uncomfortable about anything sexual going on.
Yeah, she was uncomfortable about having sex with slave people, not about having a sex with a woman.
Yeah, I think she would be. No, I don't know. They did have that disco party, so maybe I gotta take back that she would be uncomfortable. Yeah, no, okay, all right. So it was just slave people then.
I think so.
All right, cool. But no matter what, super gay the future. Have at it, people. Whatever floats your boat.
That's so ridiculous.
What?
Oh, I don't know.
All right.
But speaking, no, I guess that would be later.
What's later?
Nope, come on. That would be Black Alert.
Oh, okay. So Tyler and Burnham.
Tyler and Burnham.
Well, all the notes that we have, I just realized we have no real discussion about the end of the war and the repercussions of the Federation and all this other stuff.
Yeah,
we're all talking about character stuff. That's pretty cool.
Because that's what I think the show's definitely strength was. The character progression and development in this was, I think, excellent. I think everyone showed some amount of growth, and I think they managed to show it without long exposition or usually not long dramatic conversations. Sometimes they showed it in just snips and little quips, and I mean, it was just, I thought it was superior. I loved every bit of it, and specifically with Tyler and Burnham, I mean, I can respect the decision that they made as characters and the decision that was made by the writers.
Yeah, I mean,
especially now that, again, I mean, this talks about future stuff a little bit, but on After Trek, when they were talking about what the next season will look like we're gonna see Tyler again. We're gonna we get to see the aftermath of this season, because this season was so in the middle of action. There was constantly there was a war on, so there was constant movement forward, and we got to do this, and we got to beat the Klingons, and we have to figure out how to do that, and then they were in the Mirror Universe, and now we got to figure out how to get back. And so there was a lot of, and during that time they were losing people. Culber was killed, and Tyler was Vok, and then he was Tyler Vok, and there was a lot of things that they had to deal with. And I know both oh man, first his character name Stamets, then his Twitter handle Albino Kid, and Anthony Rapp. I was eventually going to get to his actual name. Anthony and Sonequa on After Trek both mentioned how they haven't had a chance to process anything. Like, the characters haven't had a chance to process. They haven't really sat there and reflected and gone through all the motions of grief or thought about. She needs to process getting her commission back, and now, I mean, she thought the rest of her career was going to be spent in a jail, and now she has her career back, and what does that mean?
This season definitely was like the mine car ride in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. It was just.
You never know where it was going to turn.
You're about to careen off, and all of a sudden, oh look, there's something right here. We're in a different universe. Crap.
Yeah, and so that's definitely how that whole season felt. So next season, I think it's going to be a lot of dealing with the actions and the things that happened. So we're going to see. I think we're going to see Tyler and Burnham back together. Maybe. Nope,
they're going to be at each other's throats.
So I think that those are things that we will get some resolution to. It's not just like he went off into the ether and never to be seen again, or L'Oreal's going to send some communique he got in a fight and died. I think that something really is going to happen. And then we definitely got hints that the Stamets and Culber.
Yeah,
what?
A Black Alert.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like how that's definitely Black Alert. The other thing is not.
Well, I couldn't cut you off with the other stuff.
Okay, but we're cutting off there.
Yeah, I would have cut her off with the other stuff. Sorry for people that didn't want to know anything at all about season 2. The Enterprise opens up fire on the Discovery because they didn't get the memo that Discovery was good now.
Yep.
They
Oops.
thought, yeah. So I had something right in the middle of you, but you were just blasting right ahead, and I just couldn't think of any of it. Oh, no, I know. This might be Black Alert. Not really. Don't worry. I'm just joking around.
I get cut off. He gets to say it.
No, I want next season to open up with Tyler and Burnham somewhere on like Ryza, trying to work out their differences, and them at dinner, and for Tyler to be talking in Klingon and him to call garçon in Klingon, and
you just want more French words in the Klingon dialect.
Classy words flashing up there on the screen as possible. All right, sorry everyone, I had to take that detour just for myself. All right, so how about that? All seemed pretty easy.
Like I said on Sunday,
that all seemed pretty easy.
I think.
Not super easy, because there was definitely stuff involved.
Yeah, and there was subterfuge by the Federation and the Emperor against, the white hats of the crew to get them to go along with this mass genocide that they were going to take. But
given how tough the rest of the season was, things just came up roses for them.
Yeah. Since they wanted to do it in less than an hour, that was, we either got character development or more convoluted resolution. And I did take the last 2 days to reflect on how I really felt, because we were talking about time travel and this and that, and there was just so many things they could have done, but it would have made it so complicated to have to explain through. And in the real world, there isn't time travel, and there isn't, you have to take the straightest line to try and fix things. And I think that they had all the pieces there to do what they did, and they used them. They needed to resolve what they were doing with L'Rell, and they needed to resolve that the Empire has to get unified. They have to become the Klingon Empire that we know.
Yeah, that definitely had to happen. But I feel like that needed to happen with other Klingons being involved in our version of the story, our seeing the story. There was just this shady stuff going on at the end that L'Rell was in front of the big room and stuff, but there needed to be other named Klingons that she spoke with and talk to, other characters. I feel like that's what felt disconnected to me.
For how Klingon heavy the intro was, it was Klingon light at the end.
It sure was.
We didn't get anyone from any of the other houses. Obviously Cole is dead.
Is he?
But yeah, probably.
All right.
But the other, there were no other houses represented that we had seen in the beginning who were like, yeah, we really liked the idea of uniting under T'Kuvma. We're glad you're back. And, so definitely don't blow up Kronos. We're here with you. And so, showing the beginnings of her having other support, other than just her standing there with a bomb and being like...
Yeah, because that seems kind of ridiculous, but I don't know.
I could have used, a few more minutes just to give us some of that.
Yeah.
But again, maybe that's what we're going to start to see in the next season.
Yeah, and I understand they have to cut things a certain way, do whatever it was. If it was have the whole series be this downhill, fast-paced ride that it was, or have to jam all this extra exposition and explaining and slowing down the story and have it be a regular season long, I think I'd rather have what we had than have to have everything fully explained all the way. They never even covered Prime Lorca for sure. They were just like, he had to go to the mirror universe and he's got to be dead because there's no way any of us could survive there.
Which felt like a throwaway, but either it was a throwaway or maybe we see him.
Yeah.
Jason Isaacs is very good at lying to us.
Yeah, and even if he doesn't know yet, if they haven't written whatever story it is that he would be, we could see him in two more seasons. That's fine, and that's good, and we don't need everything all fully explained. But I also don't want pulling things out of nowhere.
Yeah, and I don't
So as long as they
feel
don't
like
do that,
they
that'll be
did
good.
a lot of that.
No.
Yeah.
All right. So we hit up Tyler and Burnham, and that's pretty easy. What about Laurel? But I was surprised that they had Laurel be able to herself come out of the shadows and take command. I think it was good. I think she'll make a good leader, but I didn't think at this stage in Klingon society that she would be able to grab leadership even with a bomb that could destroy the planet.
One of the house leaders was a woman.
Was she?
Yeah, the one with the stuff on her face that you were talking about.
Was she the leader, or was she
Yeah,
the
she
one
was
that
one of
was
the House
there? So all
Representatives.
those were okay.
Yeah, those were the leaders of the houses.
I find it so odd that going back to the first episode, that all the house leaders were able to get there to that where that torchbearer thing happened all at the same time.
Maybe there's a torchbearer protocol. There's a torch protocol when the
And-
torch is lit.
And so some poor guy that was like a lot closer has to travel at warp 2 versus someone that's further away and they travel at warp 8 so they can all get there at the same time. I always hate that stuff about TV shows. Just like on cop shows when there's only one cop that can get there. Even though there's cops all over the city, there's probably a cop 3 blocks over. You get on the CB radio, this whole thing could be worked out. We could be back at the place having donuts. No, I have to go there and get them.
Or they're just always conveniently the one nearby.
Oh no, you're thinking the Enterprise in every movie ever is always the closest thing to Earth, and the only starship with a complete crew and photon torpedoes, except for when we can't have them have photon torpedoes at the beginning of Generations. I'm upset.
Wow.
Sorry, I don't know what happened there.
Wow. That was ranty.
It was, but
Suddenly.
But you know, I mean, come on. Some people out there are with me. You'd be with me too. I don't know. Anyway, I'm getting all distracted. It was a long season.
No, it wasn't. It felt like it was so quick.
Well, I'm in our season because this is the end of our season too.
Yeah.
Now we need a mid-season replacement show.
I think we know what our replacement shows are. And I think we replaced
do.
it with like 3 things. We're like, this went so well. Let's talk about all of the other things.
Are we all done with Go to Warp? Because then we'll jump to Wormhole Detected, and
I think so.
and we'll chit chat about our other things.
Okay.
So, channel news. Our channel, since Discovery is coming to a close here, we will definitely be covering the 2 books now that are out, and the third one I'm going to read, sucker. Why is that?
It's about Saru.
Yeah, baby. We find out he really saved the universe 17 other times. Yeah, so we'll definitely be having series on those books, but we are going to start covering the shows Black Lightning for sure and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for sure, because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. we followed for all these years. Black Lightning is something new, so now we just need something borrowed and something blue. Blue, is there any TV Blue shows out there? Should we do rewatches of NYPD Blue
Yeah, we're
and
gonna
comment
go
on
there.
every episode? Because then we could see the Flash, because the old Flash was in a couple episodes. He showed his butt. I remember
Oh
that.
my gosh. What?
Certain things
What
stand
is
out in your
happening?
head. When the guy that played the Flash shows his ass on ABC television, you're going to remember. Anyway,
Remember.
yeah, so no, in all honesty,
Remember
we're
the
going to do
butt.
Black Lightning, we're going to do Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. If there are any shows out there that you think that we would like, we're going to do Altered Carbon.
I hope we are.
Yes,
He needs to watch.
we
I've watched.
definitely are.
You should watch.
I've had too much consternation over Discovery. Now that that's over, I have time and availability. I will watch. Yeah, I'm not really sure exactly how we're going to do it. If we're going to do like a couple episode sets, or
Watch the first episode or the first 2 episodes, and then you can tell me how you want to digest it and how you want to discuss it. Because
okay,
if you want to discuss it like as you go along,
Mhm.
and I have the like bigger overview, or if you just want to watch all of it and then discuss it as
All
a
all right,
you
we'll
know,
see.
one
So we
shot.
got Ultra Carbon, Black Lightning, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Anything else? Please let us know in comments below. Something you'd like us to watch and review and chit chat about. So there was that, and I had something else that was actual news-wise. Oh, actual news-wise. Today, I've been home all day sick with the flu, getting fevers every 5 minutes. Yeah. Come here, baby.
Nope.
Come on.
Nope. Stay away.
Okay. But during that, I was able to take video I had shot before, and make up a how-to video on how to sign up for ABC All Access and get their free trial. Now, most of you, if you're watching this right now, you figured out YouTube. You've already figured out how to watch CBS All Access, so you know what's going on. But you might have friends that want to, that you know are into sci-fi, but even though they're into sci-fi, they're just not all that with it with the computer. Or you've got some older friends that used to like Star Trek and they just haven't watched anything new, and they're not too into the computer. Well, I made a 5-minute video on all the complete steps on how to sign up for CBS All Access, and also how, once you're all done with that free preview and you've watched Discovery, how to go in and cancel your subscription so you don't get charged anything. You get a week definitely for free, and it looked like when I tried to cancel that they tried to give you an extra month for free. So no matter what, you get a week, and that's plenty of time to be able to binge watch this show all the way through. If you get through the first 5 or 6 episodes of Discovery and they don't like it, then you can tell them, all right, whatever, it's not for you. Although they should try and hang on till that episode 10, the end of episode 9, I guess, episode 10, for the big reveal in the mid-season. But so you can just send them the link to that video. It steps through everything they need to do. Yeah, so hopefully that's helpful for some people. Feel free to shoot that around to your friends. And look at that. We actually had wormhole detected info this week.
That's awesome.
All right. Anything else you need to add for wormhole detected before we move on?
No, but there was a tweet that you had posted into our document that you wanted to discuss. It was the
Detmer and Saru one? Yes. Is
that something you wanted to have done under Warp, or
no?
It's just a fun, because it's...
No, I think I threw that in the Black Alert section.
Okay.
Yeah, so we are cool with that.
Then we are done with our wormhole detection.
All right, and I think that we're going to jump into our Black Alert section now. And for everyone that doesn't know, Black Alert is where we talk about theories that we have for the show coming up, or next season in this case, the future of the show.
The future. And
also any tidbits of information we might have seen on After Track. Normally things like we're definitely going to see Tyler again, and any other information we found out that's in the buzz out there, not just like, silly speculation that's out there. If we get any news that's out there, it's definitely news, we'll put that here. Our speculation we put here also, theories that we personally believe in. But there's some people that aren't that don't like doing that. They like having the show brought to them and not thinking about it and just get whatever the writers and all wanted. So in that case, you probably want to unfortunately bail out on this episode about now, and hopefully come back. Hopefully subscribe to the channel so you can get alerts when we start coming back, or if you're interested in any of those other shows. And please remember, let us know down in comments below if there's something you'd like us to review. So we will see you guys later, but all the people that want to hang for Black Alert, now's the time. All right, so Black Alert this time. The first thing I wanted to jump into was that story that you mentioned. And I just got to find... Oh, man, it's the wrong thing here. Oh, that's no good. All right. Sorry, everyone.
I found it, I know you're going to go on to something else, but I found it exciting to know that the producers, Gretchen and Aaron, had that image of the Enterprise showing up as in the first thing that they thought. Like, that's how this is going to end. The Enterprise is going to show up. And then they, deconstructed the season from there. They did
mention that they did that and then went backwards, and But that didn't have any bearing on anything else that happened. They just know really. That they wanted to get to that point.
Yes. And I just like that. I like that they knew it was something that they wanted to do.
Yeah.
That they do have the fans in mind, and that what they produced this season was for them. And that they had this at the end that was like here's your, you made it through the season, here's your piece of candy.
All right, so I've now thrown up there. Earlier today, there was a tweet that had this screen capture of Detmer looking up all dreamy-eyed at Saru. And now, part of me, the first thing I said when I saw this picture was, she kind of had this look a lot of times during the season. That, like, sultry eye look to people. And I was like, all right, well, maybe that's just her thing. Maybe not. I don't know. But this one looks extra sultry in my eyes. And this guy, Phil's Stalkers on Twitter said, "Say, is there anything going on between Detmer and Saru that we don't know about?" And he threw in that screen cap. And personally, I have to say that I could easily get behind this. And I think that there was something you had mentioned in Desperate Hours about Saru.
Sorry.
She tuned out there for a second.
Because I thought you were going to run with this one.
Well, I was mostly, but...
Yes, in Desperate Hours, the first officer of the Enterprise, because Spock is the science officer at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that in the pilot, the first officer was played by Majel Barrett.
Right.
Roddenberry.
Is this supposed to be someone else?
I think so. I don't think her name is the same. And again, when I get into actually doing the Desperate Hours discussion, I'll have all of these details worked out. I believe it's a different first officer, and the relation, like, she and Saru are on the planet doing things as like Spock and Burnham are doing their thing and having their character development, and Saru really took to her. Like, he really, really seemed to like her. So I would love to see that tie-in to the book. Like, I would love to, not, it doesn't have to be explicit, but just even like she being a character, she being the first officer, and Saru and her like acknowledging that they've met.
Especially if she's a different character from Majel Barrett's character.
Yes.
Because then they could have her come over and it'd be no problem, because then that wouldn't be like a direct tie to original series and all. But I do have to tell you, in my headcanon now, it is Majel Barrett's character, but somehow I've now swapped everything around, and now I have it that Saru and Lwaxana Troi have dated.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
Weird.
I think that would be a great pairing.
No.
Yeah. All right. So, on the off chance that I don't go and run with that idea of Lwaxana Troi and Saru dating, I think it would be cool if we had some kind of weird series where we explore that look between Detmer and Saru. And do something like it's not going to be fan fiction. She's mocking me with stuff, but I'm going to think of something that's going to be good. It's going to be like a choose your own adventure.
Yes.
That's what I want to do, because I started doing Twitter polls for this last one, and I found out just now that you can do polls on these videos.
That makes much more sense.
All right, cool. All right, good.
He was pitching it earlier.
I couldn't
Didn't
figure
make
out
as much sense
exactly.
Until that phrase.
I'm hazy with fever. Sorry. But I also found out that you can put polls in these videos. So if I figure out how to go back later, you won't see it now when we're live. But if you're watching this on a replay later on in the week, because chances are slim I'll get to it tomorrow. But I'll try and insert a poll here as to whether or not you'd be interested in doing a Choose Your Own Adventure. Because also, like, Will Wheaton had huge popularity reading Choose Your Own Adventure in Twitch streams. And so I want to try and construct a Choose Your Own Adventure story as we go. So that might be a thing. All right, but on the off chance that that's not a thing, what other black alertiness do we want to go over? Oh, we should talk about Culber.
Culber!
Because earlier this week, Wilson Cruz, who played Culber, he tweeted out, because he's gotten a lot of abuse online from people complaining about the bury your gays trope that they believe Discovery fell into. I almost called it Enterprise. But he tweeted about not lying to the people about this article that came out in ET Online, and they're asking in the article, the author asks Stamets and Culber's future. What's going on with that? And Wilson Cruz told them recently that their story isn't over, and Gretchen Berg commented that Wilson's correct. We have just begun to tell the love story between Culber and Stamets, so I would say just hold tight. And Aaron Harbert says Stamets has got a lot to process that he hasn't had time to yet in terms of not being in charge of the spore drive and having lost Culber. We've got to take Stamets on a journey as well, and then we'll see.
But Culber is a character who is part of this Star Trek world, no doubt.
Yeah. So I don't know how they're going to do it, but
I'm excited.
He's going to be in there more.
I'm excited.
So,
and not being in charge of the spore drive, I could see being like a physical barrier between him and Culber. Like I see him early on in the season, like going in, shooting some spores in just to get into the mycelial network and visit, and say hi to his boo and be like, I really miss you, and there being that pull there of him wanting to like live in the network.
So tons of people have made the Genesis device and them terraforming the spore network on whatever moon that was comparison. So now the next season is going to be the equivalent of getting Culber back to the spore planet, just like getting Spock getting back to the Genesis planet to find Spock.
Okay.
So that Stamets can get to Culber. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's something you just said. I said something else where he was jacking himself into the spore drive to go to the mycelial network to go see.
Well, yes, but he'll need, he'll use the last of his couple spores that they have.
But they harvested, I think, a full load from the planet.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm sure that they needed a lot. And he could only steal so many before he was, before they went and classified everything, I'm sure.
I don't think he's stealing anything. I think the spore drive is on Discovery, and it has a full load of things. And I think he'll go in and jack in, and then they'll be like, no, you can't do that anymore. Like, after he goes and visits and they have some lovey-dovey time,
okay, so
then they're going to be like, you can't do that anymore. We're not using humans in the spore drive. And he's going to be like, but this is the only way I can see my boo. And then there'll be, conflict will ensue.
I thought that they would have already removed the spore drive from the ship.
I did not get that sense, but maybe
I would think that they would have to do that, wouldn't they? They can't have that ship just traveling around that can go anywhere.
Why not? If there's nothing, if only Stamets is the one who can control it, then it's almost like it's under lock and key, and they don't want to use a human to do it, so it's not being used. Yeah,
it's not being used, but what happens when people come and steal the ship and Culber? They got to dismantle that thing and spread the pieces all over and delete the knowledge of the technology. It's too powerful, I tell you.
It makes for drama.
Well, yeah, it makes for drama. That's why they won't do it.
Exactly. The other thing I wanted to say about that was, what about the green spore?
What about the green spore?
The green spore that landed on Tilly.
It wasn't a spore. It was just a booger. That's all.
The end.
No,
what if it was? What if it was a consciousness?
Was it Culber? Was it evil Lorca? You never thought about it being evil Lorca?
No.
He dove straight into that big ball of whatever.
Yeah.
His consciousness could have gotten sucked in there. I don't know why it would be green, though. Could it be the Incredible Hulk?
No.
It could be.
Wrong universe.
What?
No.
Give Disney a little bit of time. They'll buy it. They're buying up everything. Come on, that'd be great. A little Incredible Hulk. And he got shrunk down by Ant-Man.
No.
Ant-Man the Wasp. This movie coming out sometime? Is that the like November-ish Marvel movie this year? Anyway, we can't go down the Marvel road here. We have to have limits. And I have to not yell into the mic.
Yes, that's probably a good idea.
All right. So, do you have anything else for Black Alert? Holy cow, we're almost up to 50 minutes. We didn't have nothing to talk about.
I love it. I love
man.
it. I am interested to see one of the things that they asked and that they mentioned not only in this
Who's they?
Harberts and Aaron and
Okay.
Gretchen that they mentioned in the ET online article and in Aftertrack was that the theme of this season had been war and what you do during war and the lengths you'll go and whatnot. Although I think the other theme was was mirrors and discovering yourself, and the theme for Chapter 2, they were calling it for Season 2, is the conflict between science and spirituality.
Oh, yeah.
And
I do remember them mentioning that.
I dig it.
Yeah,
I
they're
dig
gonna
it because
have-
I think Stamets is going to be a big...
Yeah, the whole Culber's consciousness still being in there.
Yeah, I think that... And he's like the man of science. Like he and Culber were that kind of duality of science and empathy and, as a medical officer. And so I think, I dig it.
You said Season 2, and now all I can think of is Electric Boogaloo. Darn it.
That's what we do.
All right. One last thing I wanted to mention about Black Alert is that I hope that this show goes on for several seasons, and I hope Season 3 or 4 has Emperor Georgiou, who has found Captain Killy, who is still alive because she's a badass and probably got herself off of the Discovery before it got blown up by the Klingons, and she's been just hiding out herself back behind Klingon lines. And so Killy and Georgiou, who obviously have a history from that scene when they met up,
when Tilly and Georgiou met up.
Yes,
which
sorry.
was a beautiful scene.
Yeah.
I love Tilly
But we
so
talked
much.
about that already, so we can't go back and rehash.
She's not.
Oh, she's not.
Don't do that.
Yeah, that was not cool.
So when the ISS Discovery got blown up
correct
by Klingons.
But the Captain Killy from the Mirror Universe, she did find a way to escape, and she and Emperor Georgiou, also from the Mirror Universe, are going to meet up, and they're going to have to deal with them at some point.
Do you know who they're going to meet up with?
Harry Mudd.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes.
Now that we've been rejected our extra mudness, we're
I'm
going to want
mentioning him now in every episode.
Everything
we're going to
we do.
ask no mud. We're going to say it every episode now. And as a final note, no mud this episode.
Yeah.
Until
Nice.
we see him again.
Well,
I'm going to start my own Twitter handle and everything. It's going to be all about Harry Mudd.
Twitter handle or hashtag so everyone can follow along and join in on the goodness. Like a hashtag bring back Harry Mudd.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that.
All right, cool. And so you should start queuing up questions for After Trek for next season, asking when are we going to see Harry Mudd again.
Yes.
All right, cool. Matt Myra will be able to help us out with that. He's a cool guy.
Very cool.
All right, anyway. So do we have anything else, honey? Is we all wrapped up?
Is we all be wrapped up?
Are we all done with Black Alert? Can I make that go away just in case anyone was sitting there with us on mute?
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome. All right.
Welcome back.
No more Black Alert.
Woo-hoo.
Hello. But I think we're all done. And so that's going to be the end of Season 1 for the Threatened Ganglia vodcast. We will be having a couple episodes during the hiatus for the books, and I'm sure at some point we're going to, when we start getting news back out about what Season 2 is supposed to be about, things
we'll
like
do
dates
news
and
reactions
everything.
and things.
Yeah, we'll do a couple different episodes, but that'll be like some kind of summer replacement show, but we'll have to name it something different.
It hasn't been announced when they're coming back, right? Like none
Not
of the
that I
producers.
know of.
And the only date we saw was Jason Isaacs saying something about 2020.
Yeah, because he's a jerk.
Yeah.
There's nothing but lie to us. But anyway.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think Jason Isaacs actually is the doctor. He does nothing but lie.
that's true. All right, but it was a fun ride for this season. Thank
It
you,
was
everyone. Please come back to the channel. Check out our other shows that we're going to be developing and have out there. We will have something next Tuesday night, one of those shows. So if you got in the habit of checking in on us on like Wednesdays or Thursdays for the replay or live tonight, we will be here.
Woohoo.
Not really sure yet exactly what we're doing. I'll put it out there on Twitter when I do. So please be sure to subscribe and like us and hit that bell down there if you want, so that way you know whenever we come back out with something.
Ding.
And we will see you next week. Bye. Keep waving. Don't stop waving, because I got to hit this button in like 5 minutes.